Welcome everyone back. The outrage is here. We got back in the studio. I like having you, Spencer Byers. Happy to have you with us. I don't know what episode it is, Al, so I'm gonna stop saying episodes now, just for
This
you.
is this is 18.
Is it
I, I,
18?
I remember, yes. And also, this is actually pretty cool, Spencer. I don't know if you know this, but we've officially reached 1 year with the outrage.
No, I would not have known it's the 1 year anniversary.
Yep. Sure was. Thank you to Facebook Memories for that. Actually, a few days ago, it popped up on my Facebook feed. I gotta go pull this up, Spencer, because we gotta
Y-
get this one right
We
here.
gotta commemorate.
We gotta,
We gotta commemorate the moment it all
yeah,
started.
exactly. And for some reason, of course, you know how my cell phone works, Spencer. When I need something, it never comes, never shows up. It always freaking
Runs
takes
away
so
from you.
long. It runs away. I'm scrolling as fast as I can here, and I'm trying to like stall. My stalling game's
Well,
been pretty
it,
decent. Oh, there it
it,
is.
oh, there you go.
September 3rd, 2022 is when we launched the first ever episode of The Outrage on all platforms. So September 3rd, 2022. So this was actually
Last
this is
week.
a few weeks, last weekend, last Sunday. So your baby that you created is officially a year old. And
Yeah,
it's kind of sad, I guess, if you think about it, though, that in
we
the
only
span
done
of one
18
year,
episodes.
we've done 18 episodes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we gotta get you into gear, Big Al. That's what we gotta do.
I know, but you know what though? Hey, like you met when you messaged me, I was like, "Yep, I'm good. Like, I'll find a slot." Like that's the thing. Like, I've been super busy and all that, but like, I've been trying to, I know how much this means to you, and you know what? It's kind of nice once in a while too. It's like a reset for me. I get to talk about sports,
Yeah.
considering I've been covering a lot of news lately, but so I don't mind making taking an hour out of my day here and there to get this baby going.
Well, I'm happy you do save me your time, and I think this week is a perfect week to get you back, get us back, because
Is it ever?
news broke yesterday. The Jays have lost their most recent game to the Texas Rangers. I
Oh yeah.
believe they believe that finished their series again. Nope, they have one more game
They
against
got one more.
Texas.
Yep.
Against Texas. That did fall them out of the wild card spots for now. They are technically tied with Seattle, but they're below Seattle and half a game below Texas, who are in the second spot, Seattle in the third spot of the wild card. Again, the Jays right now in the last non-play or the first non-playoff spot of the wild card. And they're
Yep.
really
And
the only
they
three teams fighting there because obviously the Rays are the top wild card team, still trying to see if they can catch the Orioles, who are leading the whole way in the AL. But it can be a dogfight between Texas, Seattle, and Toronto, Al. But
is it really a fight though, Spencer?
I mean, the Jays are going to try to make it a fight. I'm not sure if you have
Nah,
confidence it will be a fight, but the Jays
they're
are going to try
not
to make it a
doing.
fight, aren't they?
Well, I mean, they're not fighting really well right now. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, yeah, cool. Like, Kevin Kiermaier made a speech at the end of the Kansas City series, which was the team, which was who was in town prior to Texas, paying them a visit. And Kansas City, not the best team in the league, obviously, but not the well, close to the worst, I guess, too. And the fact that they had a hard time putting them away was just sad, is what I thought. And Kiermaier after the one game saying, this is the race, like we're doing this, like we're gonna go, like we're gonna get in, and we're gonna make this like I don't know, it's not word for word. I'm obviously paraphrasing, but and I was like, okay, that's a great speech. And then Texas rolls into town, and then it's like, yeah, they rolled over because that's what happens with the Blue Jays. They gain a little bit of momentum. It's like one step forward, two steps back all the time. And the teams that they need to beat, I swear, man, they remind me of Toronto sometimes, like the other Toronto team. And I don't even have to mention who I'm talking about because you guys know exactly what I'm saying. They beat the teams that they shouldn't beat, like without it, like they have no shot. And then they'll play a team that's like mediocre or worse, and they lose, or they barely squeak by. So I just maybe they get in, maybe, but if they do, like they're not doing anything. They're not going to go anywhere. This is a waste of a season, and the fact that no one's clued into that yet is bogus. It's just frustrating. Like there are fans that I talk to, and that like there are people that I talk to. They're like they're not casual Jays fans, but they're realists. Like they see what's going on. Davis Schneider's your best player right now, and he's a call up. Like things just did not work out the way everyone thought it was going to on paper, which is fine. But like now the thing is like this hasn't been working out the entire season. This isn't new that the Jays aren't good. This isn't new that they can't play clutch baseball. There's nothing new about this roster. Nothing was done. You know, I can't give them too much fault though, because like then there's a Los Angeles Angels who are like, yeah, we're making a playoff push, and the next thing you know, every guy they traded for freaking gets put on waivers.
Yep.
You know,
Literally 2 weeks after.
Yeah, like they just rolled over and died. But you know what? At least they're doing something. I'll give them that. It's not smart, but it's by all means, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But it's something. Whereas these guys here just kind of stood still. They stayed with status quo. You know, oh, we believe in this. You have 162 games to play. That's a lot. Okay, 82 games in a hockey season is, well, sometimes gets a lot, but by the time you get to game 35, you know what you got. You know the product, and you know that then you're getting ready. Okay, well, what are we going to do at the trade deadline? What are we doing? Whereas this team here,
it's very rare to that team. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's very rare that teams that after 40 games really change their trajectory. Like I'd say the Blues, St. Louis Blues of 2019 when they won the Cup, are like the only real recent memory team that was garbage till like January. And then just went on a great pace.
It wasn't luck. I think they had the thing is with the Blues too. Like they were a shocker. Like they were a shocker. Like they had a team on paper, but it was shocking that they were bad. And then all of a sudden, it's like there's the team we expect.
Yeah, hot goalie, good roster, and they got hot at the right time. They're basically hot from January till they won the Cup in June.
No, absolutely.
They were hot for 6 months, and I'll put Jordan Binnington's name as the reason why. But you can go through that roster and say, you know, great player, great player.
It was Jordan Binnington though. It was. It really was. As soon as like everyone remembers the quote, "Do I look nervous?" Jeez. As soon as he hit the media with that quote, that was it. They're going.
Well, Al, ironically, I was going to mention Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has not been very good recently, and the Jays have definitely not been happy for it. But Al, another good commenter on pressure. You know, something you put in your tires, Al.
Yeah.
Alek Manoah, who's continued to be a story for the Jays.
Not in a bad way.
Yeah, but has continued to be a story, and it was always bad this year. He's really struggled this year. He's had a lot of problems.
Yep.
You know, trying to be an MLB pitcher. He got sent down to Florida. I'll say infamously on this show, he got sent down to Florida. And then he went AAA, had a couple AAA starts, and then got back to the majors. But since Hyunjin Ryu came off of the Tommy John and came back about a month ago or so, Manoah got kind of phased out, and he got optioned to AAA. And he hasn't reported yet to Buffalo. Has not reported to AAA. And it is becoming, quote-unquote, less and less likely he returns to the mound this season. So it sounds like the 25-year-old Manoah is done.
Yeah, they shut him down. And rightfully so. I saw something, too, yesterday. I was scrolling through Twitter, and he hasn't reported because he's not taking this well. He wasn't happy that he got sent down, but it's like, dude, you haven't been an MLB pitcher. You haven't. Your best start was against the Detroit frickin' Tigers. That's it. And they're barely an MLB team themselves. So, you know, for me, it's shocking in a sense because he's such a competitor, and it was really disappointing to read because this is a guy that I think a lot of young kids look up to because he's been so damn good. And this is also a guy that, like, I think has a voice on that ball club had a voice anyways up until now. He's not there anymore. And I think he has a solid leadership role with the team. I don't know how big it is. I think it's pretty underrated if you ask me. But then again, it could, you know, be right out there. He could be one of the most vocal guys, and I believe he is because, I mean, he's vocal enough already on the mound. So I was really disappointed to read that. But at the same time, I also saw a picture the other day, and it could just be my eyes playing tricks on me or not, but I think he lost a bit of weight. There was a picture that surfaced. He was signing autographs for kids at the minor league level, and he looks like he lost a little bit of weight. And I think if they're gonna shut him down, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a conditioning thing. And again, I know a lot of fat shaming gets thrown around out there and all that. This isn't what I'm saying. This guy here was evidently like going through something with mechanics and delivery and all that. But again, my first sign that I looked at when Manoah started not having, after like Manoah's second start, I pointed it out, and you can go back in the archives if you have to. But I did say this guy looks like this pitch clock is eating him alive, because it takes so much out of him to pitch in a certain amount of time that he just can't. I don't think his cardio is up to par. And again, you can be a big dude and have good cardio, like, and still be a big dude. Like, look at football players, like offensive line guys. Like, I'm sure they have a pretty decent cardio. Maybe not that, like, not marathon runner, excuse me, cardio, but I'm sure they, they can. They're ready to go. And now the fact that they shut him down, I think it's good, because now it's like, okay, well, you know what? Fine. You don't want to pitch AAA? Great, fine. But like, now I'm worried, because the last thing he needs to do, if he really likes being here in Toronto, which I think he does, this guy here has, depending on how he does and how he bounces back and how the rest of his career goes, I could see him. I have him labeled as a franchise player. And this is not what a franchise player does. Like, yes, you're going through it. Yes, it's mentally draining. Yes, it sucks. Yes, you want to be at the highest level of your game, but you're not. Go get better. Just get better and come back. The Jays fans will welcome you with open arms when you come back. And we've seen it when he played against Detroit. Like, a lot of Jays fans made the trip across the border. Even when he did pitch at Rodgers Center. Even when he pitched at Rodgers Center, right there with him. But at this point, stop whining, stop complaining. You suck this year. Own that. Let that fuel you and come back stronger, and be able to help this team win ball games. Because honestly, like, they need him, man. They need him. He's a crucial part to that roster. And I mean, look at last year. Cy Young finalists. He has the stuff. We know he has the potential. So it's just a matter of get it back, and then come help this team. Because let me tell you, they need it. They freaking need it. And the Jays as a whole have been frustrating, though, as of late. And I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say on Alek Manoah, is just that, get better and, stop whining and get shit done. But as for the Jays, like, there's so many things I've been doing. Like, I watched a couple of bits and pieces of the Texas games, and when Jonah Heim hit a grand slam in game 1 of the 3-game set, it was off of Genesis Cabrera. And the last few times I watched a game and I saw Cabrera pitching, he was always coughing up runs. And a few times it wasn't in crucial situations, but for me, I'm like, man, this guy should not pitch. Like, keep pitching him, but don't put him in high leverage such situations. Sure enough, Texas big series. Yeah, you beat Kansas, great, but this is the big one. This could be your make or break series here.
Yeah, because everything else after this is division. It's in division.
And the Jays aren't going on a run. Let's be real here. They're not going on a run. They're not gonna sweep the next whatever X amount of series they have left here. That's not happening. I think if they lose, I think they're already done. Honestly, I think if the Jays lose tonight in the third game of this set, third and final game of the set, I think they're done.
It's actually it's a 4-game set.
Oh, it's a 4-game set.
It's a 4-set against Texas.
Lord have mercy.
17 games left in the year, Al.
You better hope. Well, they need a split. They need a split. They lose this game tonight, they're done. They lose this game tonight, they're done.
In a
for
bad
sure.
way, they need a split.
Yeah, no, this is not good, man. Like, honestly, like, yeah, like, this is, I don't know what it is. And again, been curious for most of the season now, but like, they can't play clutch. They can't play clutch baseball to save their lives. They have spurts, but there's just something that's like, I don't know. I know that I'd like management to change if they don't make the playoffs. John Schneider, Nah, you know, whatever. Stay, go, maybe demote him. I think he can handle the demotion. I don't think he'd care about that.
I'm
But
not sure. I'm not sure if you can
it
really
would be
demote a
it would
guy.
be weird. Not a lot of guys would do that. But anyways, eh, you know, for me lately, it's been bothering me that Genesis Cabrera like pitched in that high leverage situation where it was like a 3-run ball game and then bases loaded. I don't even know if he's the one that loaded them up or not. But if he did and they left them on, that's even dumber. And then bam, grand slams. It's like, but anyway, so Genesis Cabrera for me shouldn't be a guy coming out of the bullpen in a high leverage situation. Um, Even in the Colorado series when Chad Green came back and pitched 4 runs and they after the third one, I was like, guys, get him out. Like not even like it was one of those where, like, I don't care if you know if there's 2 outs still, but like he just allowed 3 runs. Like they keep banging him in. Take him
Mm-hmm.
out, And he didn't look bad. It's just I think they were just putting the ball to him, and it was one of those where you just can't catch a break, and they're just hitting everything. Kind of like Hyun-Jin Ryu against the Tampa Bay Rays. Ryu was a good pitcher. It's just a matter of, geez, Tampa just had the bats going that night in that wild card series in 2021, 2020, 2021, something like that. But anyways, yeah. So the Jays, for me, it's they're making their own bet, and I just hope they're able to lay in it. I don't think they'll be able to. I think there's a lot of this is really bad because I think there's a few guys, Matt Chapman being one of them, not going to come back. Kevin Kiermaier will be back. I think that'll be a thing. But I think this season is going to destroy the morale in general in that clubhouse. And I saw a tweet the other day. This will be my last thought on the Jays, and then we can move on unless you have anything else to add, Spencer. But Keegan Matheson tweeting out on Twitter saying this was on the Monday night.
You mean X, by the way. But continue.
Right. Yes, you are correct. Yep. Staying on your toes, staying woke, Spencer. Saying how he was surprised. He's like, hey, if any of your friends are downtown and you got like 20,000 of your friends, I'm sure you'd be able to find a seat in Rodgers Center. He's like, I know school's back and all that, but like, I can't believe it's this empty, like with this crucial of a series. But in my head, I'm going, they fucking suck. Oh, sorry. Damn. Sorry, Spencer. they suck. No, why would you? It's Texas. Texas is one of the better offensive teams in the league right now. Sure, they haven't been that great in the last month, maybe a month and a half, but like it's not like Toronto and Texas when both teams could go either way and like they'll make a game out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody like this is the thing. Like a lot of Jays fans are casual fans. It's not like the Leafs where you're guaranteed to sell out the building every night, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Blue Jays. They have options. It's people. Even I sometimes go, you know what? It's just a baseball game. Who cares? Seriously. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a Jays fan. Like I go to a lot of games. I watch them when I can and whatnot. But at the same time, it's like I also know that. Well, I mean, baseball is also not my first sport, so like I also don't have that as much passion as I do for hockey. But it's one of those where I'm kind of more realistic and it's easy. I don't have my blinders on, I guess. Sometimes my Leafs blinders will go on. Whereas these guys here, I can call it like it is, no problem. Like, and what it is that these guys are not good. They're inconsistent as hell. They don't deserve to be in the playoffs. And I am not surprised that there's 20,000 plus seats empty, whether it's a weekday or weekend game. They're not good. It's a waste of time. Going to watch a baseball game in Toronto is honestly a gamble now, which, I mean, it's sports in general. Sports is 50-50 all the time. But, like, these guys here is legitimately one of those
There's no goodwill. There's no faith there.
Right. Because one game, it's like, oh, they're really hot. And then you'll go like, oh, maybe they're turning a tide. Let's go watch. Like, I'd like to see this again. But the problem is the Jays cannot replicate a really good performance consistently.
This goes from a guy who goes to a lot of games, Al. You go. I'll say quite a few games, more than the average fan.
And and there are games where I've gone to. Like I went to the Cleveland series. That was the last set of games I went to, and the first game was just they lost. But then the second game was like, where the hell was this?
Where was this team?
Yeah, So it's like, yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays, man, that's who they are. And if your expectations are still a deep run in the playoffs, well, I appreciate your positivity, but not seeing it.
Well, I did want to mention here, Al, you talked about Alec Manoah. Just to go back just for a second, you talked about how you hoped it was a conditioning thing. The problem is in why he didn't report AAA is that his camp is upset that it was based on performance related reasons is why he got optioned.
Well, buddy,
Is
look
my
at your
understanding.
numbers. Look at your.
So
Oh, sorry, I
so
did it again. Look at your numbers, Alec. Your numbers suck. You have what, 2 wins?
so that I think he's actually only got one. I think he's 1-7 this year. 3-9,
Oh
pardon
my
me.
God.
So you are
Yeah.
both wrong. We're both shortchanging him.
If you
And
can't
then
if
go
you
ahead.
can't acknowledge that you have performance issues, then you know what? Then you have a bigger problem. You need to look at yourself in the mirror, bud.
And then the
And
other
I'm
thing I
not.
wanted to mention, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say the last thing I want to mention on Alec Manoah before you switch topics is he apparently met with a specialist last week that was looking at his ailing knee, back, and right quad. No structural damage, but has been lingering and he's been dealing with injuries, which again leads to, and you talked about fat shaming, but I don't think that's it for me. It's more just the pitch clock obviously was a problem for him. It
Yeah.
affected him very, very poorly. It obviously, but you can tell by performance, the pitch clock definitely negatively affected him.
There you go. I knew
But
you'd get there, Spencer.
one day I'd stutter out the right word. I get through there.
Yep.
But other than that, you know, it's the weight. Like, no offense, but when you carry around that much weight, doing what you're like throwing 95, 96, 97 on the gun, fastballs, and you're supposed to do that 33 to 34 times a year, and he's not one of those guys who goes 5 innings. He's supposed to go 6 or 7 innings, throw
Oh
over
yeah.
100
Yeah.
pitches.
Yep.
So, his body needs to be able to hold up. And if he's running at a listed 260, I don't think that's optimal for him.
Yeah. No, I just think everything that could go wrong for him did, and then it just
He never got better.
he never got. Yeah, he wasn't able to push through and recover from whatever the issue was, and now he's crying about it, and it's like, hey man, like, we know this isn't you. Find yourself again, and like, I want him back. I want him ready to go next year. Like, that should be the mindset. Sure, I don't care if they shut him down. Great, but like, come on, don't pull a fit, dude. You're a professional ball player. Act like it. This is your first taste of adversity in your big league career, and you're failing right now. You're failing the test. Anyways, that's it.
And
That's
and
that for
then
me.
and then finally, Al, I gotta get this out of you, Al. I got to. I know you said you
Oh
don't think they're
boy.
gonna make it. I know you said you don't think you're gonna make it, but again, Texas half a game up on both Seattle and Toronto. Seattle just above Toronto, but they're tied on games, both 80 and 65. Texas 80 and 64. Right now, Toronto has the best last 10 of any of those four teams. 5-5 last 10 Texas, just 3-7 last 10 for Seattle, and 6-4 last 10 for Toronto. Al, last 17 games, 5 more series, and the finish at Texas. They play the Rays twice, the Yankees twice, and Boston once.
Oh, they're
Who
so screwed.
do you believe they make the playoffs? How many wins do you think they get out of 17, including tonight's game? 17 games. How many wins do you think they get? And do you think they make the playoffs with those wins?
I'm gonna say 9.
Okay.
I'm gonna say
So
9, and I don't think they make it, because if anyone watches baseball, you can back me up on this. The Seattle Mariners own August. August is their freaking month. So, and I think the Tampa Bay Rays right now, as much as they have very, very limited arms in terms of their starting rotation, in terms of big names, Jordan Springs, Drew Rasmussen, and there was one more that I'm missing. Oh, why did I have to go name fishing? Anyways, I think the Rays know how to play baseball. Rays were good at the beginning of the year before they dealt with all
McClanahan.
those. Yes. Why did that slip my mind? That is so sad. Anyways, um, They don't have them, but they're still winning. I think the Rays. I'm not counting them out either. They're playing good baseball right now.
Well, they're
They're
way
get
above you guys. The
Yeah,
Rays
but
are well
they're
above.
yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna say 9 games
So they
out
go
of
9-8,
17. They go 9-8. They
and they
uh
miss. You said they think they miss.
name me the teams again.
They finish this series against Texas. They then
Okay,
play against
they're
Boston at home.
they're gonna win one against Texas. They're gonna lose tonight. They're gonna win the fourth one.
Yeah,
Um,
the next three at home against Boston.
I think they lose 2 out of 3.
Then they go at New York Yankees, at Tampa Bay.
I think Yankees. I think they'll split the Yankees series. The Tampa Bay series is going to be. You know what? They might actually pull that one off. They might win that series.
And then they play at home to New York, the Yankees, and at home to the Rays to end the season.
Oh, okay. They're gonna lose the series at home against the Yankees, and then I think they get a split with the Rays. That's my prediction.
Well, you think 9-8, and you think they miss, and Seattle and Texas both make it in. So pessimistic is I like Evian about the Toronto Blue Jays, but when isn't he? When aren't you, Al? When are you pessimistic about those boys?
I mean, yeah, I like to think it's just more realistic. Like I said, like anyone that's watched the Jays consistently this year knows, like you can't tell me that like, if you have full confidence in this team to make it into a wild card, like you haven't been watching. You really haven't.
Well, talk about other players that have been dealing with injuries. I do want to mention this quick that Carey Price has officially kind of came out and said he's conceding that it is very hard to believe, unless basically barring a miracle, he will probably never play again
Yeah,
in
we
the
knew that
NHL.
already. We knew
Which,
that.
well, but it still sucks to admit, doesn't it? To see that
Yeah,
Carey
it
Price
does, but
is
it's also
finally
like
done
but it's also like, dude, like that writing's been on the wall for the last 3 years now. Like
since the playoff run.
since that cup run, that was it. As soon as you heard he got knee surgery, you're like, okay, well, you're done. Because it
Well,
wasn't his
yeah.
first one.
And then he went to the rehab. He went into the player assistance program
Yeah, it
for
just
whatever
again
reason
all
he
downhill.
did.
Like the signs are right there. Like, there's a saying, ignoring the red flags, and like you just been ignoring them for a while, but like the red flags were there. You know, so it sucks. It does suck because I do wish he would have had a better career, and I do wish he would have won a cup. I don't care if it would have been well, no, I do care if it would have
Yeah,
been with
you do care.
Montreal.
Don't lie.
But
You do
I mean,
care.
I would have liked to have seen him go somewhere else and win a cup because I think goaltenders by a certain age, if they haven't won a cup, but they know they have the potential with the right team. Look at Darcy Kemper. He went to Colorado and won a cup.
Yeah, but certain goalies have that cachet, that loyalty, like Pecorine,
I
like
understand. I understand the loyalty part, but you know
Carey
what? Like
Price, for
that's
example.
the one thing I wouldn't be so mad about is go like I care about more about loyalty about core players. But when it comes to goaltenders, like Henrik Lundqvist is the only one that was. I understand why he stayed in New York because they are actually making the playoffs consistently and they made a few cup final and conference final appearances throughout his career. That made sense. But Montreal, it's like, buddy, you made what 2 conference finals in your career? Come on. I don't know. It sucks. It sucks. But I wish Carey Price all the best, and it is unfortunate that he didn't get to really end his career on his own terms. But I mean, in terms of like, I'm finally seeing like it's pretty much time. My hockey's done. It's like, yeah, we knew, buddy, we knew.
Well, and this could mean a role in the management of Montreal. This could mean his coaching position, whatever route he wants to go for, if he wants to just stay retired, which lots of athletes do. Lots of athletes pick, their, I'll say, substrata, if it's management, if it's coaching, or if it's just, I want to lounge on my couch and watch. Like, I hopefully he gets to pick whichever one of those three whichever category he fits in best. But to continue on with hockey, Al, Mike Babcock, we talked about him getting hired by the Columbus Blue Jackets and how
Yep.
that was definitely an interesting hire by those Columbus Blue Jackets and GM Jarmo Kekalainen. What the
Yeah.
only non-North American in management. I also wanted to add there for Yarmo, but regardless, and Mike's in more hot water. And in fairness to Mike, this isn't really his fault. Okay, and let me take you down this trip. So Paul Bissonnette, the
Ah,
former
yes.
NHLer,
Good
who
old
has
spitting
his
chicklets.
who has the podcast Spit and Chicklets with Ryan Whitney.
Ryan Whitney, yeah.
I was gonna say Ray Whitney for a second. I was like, that's still not the right one.
No, you're Whitney is the
It-
right last name though.
yeah, so Ryan, and he said, and I quote, so talking about, and I'll give you a quick just example of what was going on before I give you the quote. He said he was explaining that Babcock apparently had been requesting guys, give them their phones and they can go through pictures and stuff, which apparently he's done in the past. And then he quotes, "This player who texted me said he has about 20 stories exactly like the one I'm about to tell you." Babcock, in brackets, called in players from his team, and he'll say, "Let me see your phone, open your photos, and I want to see who you are as a person." So the players in the past have obviously handed over their phones. They plugged it in. I think the video coach plugs it in, and then they bring it up on the flat screen, and he goes through the camera roll. The camera roll. He goes through the camera roll on your phone, and then he said, and the Bissonnette, and that's the end of the quote. And Bissonnette said that he believes that Babcock had talked to Boone Jenner and did that to Boone Jenner. And then Babcock said that he did go through a player's phone technically, but did not do what Paul Bissonnette said he did with like putting on the TV and all that stuff. And then Boone Jenner came out and explained his side of the story, saying, "While meeting with Babs, he asked me about my family and where I'm from, my upcoming wedding and hockey related stuff. He then asked me if I had pictures of my family, and I was happy to share them with him. He showed me pictures of his family. I thought it was a great first meeting and a good way for us to start building a relationship. To have this blown out of proportion is truly disappointing." And then Bissonnette responded to both Boone and Babcock, saying that did happen, but not in the way Paul was explaining it happened in. He said he has tons of players that would confirm his version of events. And the NHL has basically gone, hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil, and kind of not reacted to any of the accusations on either side. But, you know, do I'm not gonna say Babcock's wrong, because if Babcock and Boone can agree on that story that all they did was they were having a conversation, and Babcock was like, "Hey, I heard you're having an upcoming wedding. Like kind of like where you're from. How'd you get into hockey type of thing. And Boone was showing him pictures, and then Bab to relate was showing him pictures of when he was back in Saskatchewan, coaching the University of Saskatchewan. You know, I think that's all fair game, but I think Babcock should also know that anything he does is going to be under the microscope because of what happened in Toronto, because of what happened in Detroit.
Yeah,
You know,
so it's funny enough as you mentioned this, I scrolling through Twitter and sure enough, there's a screenshot that Paul Bissonnette posted. This was 20 hours ago. And it says, if you think Spit and Chickless podcast rolls out that story without confirming it with a member of the team, you need a brain transplant. Bizarre behavior from a guy that's done it before and gotten canned for stuff exactly like this. This was the text I got. Geez, I opened the full tweet now. I lost my spot. Oh, this is the text I got that started all off. First I'd ever heard of it, so I called him and got the story. Believe who you want to believe. The truth will eventually come out. The good news is he won't be invading guys' privacy from a position of power anymore. If you can't understand how bizarre that is, then we just aren't going to be aligned on this. And then there's a screenshot, and there's text messages show, and there's no obviously contact or source. So again, like this could just be a picture for all I know. But I mean, Bissonnette seems pretty passionate about this, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But it says, you got to sneak it into your pod about Babs getting guys to show their photos on the big screen. He's doing it to guys in Columbus now. It's the same shit he did to me. Guys need to know that's coming. It's a effing joke. That's the end of the text. And then there's Biz replying going like, oh, like, he all confused and stuff. And yeah, but so there's that. At this point, even if it is true or not, like we don't know no one's in the dressing room, and the person that texted him that said he did to me. That sounds like a guy that just has something out for Babcock being back in the league and what. Honestly, I'm just let him coach. Let's see what happens. Season didn't even start. Like, why? I understand he's under a microscope. I get why. There's a valid reason as to why he should be, but just let him do his job. Let's see what happens. And reading the Boone Jenner thing, I believe Boone Jenner is the captain of the Columbus Blue Jackets, first of all. So I strongly believe that statement he made that's been out there that was released by the Columbus Blue Jackets, I don't think he says that statement unless he believes it and he actually is honest and means it. I don't think Boone Jenner is that kind of guy. You don't get to walk all over Boone Jenner. Boone Jenner does what Boone Jenner thinks is right and whatever. But this is also bad for the Columbus Blue Jackets in terms of the season didn't even start and you already are distracted with something that is not on ice related. I really hope this whole statement thing and everything puts it to bed. Knowing how the media works around here in this province, it probably won't. This is going to be a topic for a long time. If the Blue Jackets lose their first 20 games of the season, well, guess what? They're going to point the finger to that incident. Also, Spencer, I don't know if you have anything else to add on Columbus, but I have a tweet in front of me that I think, remember when we said we didn't have anything to talk about the Leafs?
Yeah.
I found something.
Of course you did. Of course, Al, of all people who didn't listen to talk about these guys, to break the fourth wall, we were talking in the episode. What do we talk about this week? Manoah goes number 1. I think Bab goes number 2. When we talk about number 3.
Well, this is recent. This isn't something I had to dig up.
We agreed on a third topic. We'll get into in a second with Aaron Rodgers obviously tearing his Achilles just 2 days ago. But, I was like, well, I don't want to talk about the Leafs, something going on with the Leafs. I was like, okay, well, we'll talk about the Leafs then. But now all of a sudden, he found something.
Well, yeah, because
all of a sudden, Alec found this breaking news. So, Alec, what is your Toronto Maple Leafs breaking news?
This is from Mark Masters 22 minutes ago. Matthew Nyes says he was cleared to return from a concussion on the day the Leafs were eliminated by the Florida Panthers.
And he didn't play, did he?
Did not play. So,
No.
That's honestly my only thought is just
Well, I guess, does that make you feel any worse or better than how you felt about Keefe before you read that?
No.
Because that's
no. Okay. So in a sense, I'm pissed because it's like, dude, elimination game, you want the best players out there, right?
And you think he fit?
He should have. Absolutely. Big dude, scored a goal. He was going. This guy here was one of the better Leafs players in the playoffs, without a doubt, even though there was like somewhat of a lack of production. But this guy just gelled really well.
He's also a kid in his first NHL action because he was a college player.
And that's my point. As much as you were cleared to come back, you're also potentially, the future of this team. William Nylander goes, guess what? Matthew Nyes fits right in.
Well, Nyes already made in the top 6.
Well, there you go. So that just backs me up even more. So that's all I'm going to say is you want your best players out there to give you a chance to win. It's for the Stanley Cup. Do whatever it takes. But I'm also going to, glass half empty, half full in this case and go, he is just a kid. You don't want to risk any further injuries that could potentially shorten his career by a few or a couple or more than just a few seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I'm going to say to that. But by reading that tweet, I'm also like, my first thought was, really? And they didn't play him.
Well, I want to mention, hopefully Columbus has a good year. Because, again, injuries also plagued them really bad. Like, they had
have
at
the
least
potential.
one point. They had, like, 8 guys hurt on their starting lineup. Like, they were ravaged by injuries last year. So we'll see if they can stay healthy this year. With Mike Babcock.
They have the potential. They have the potential. It's there.
Especially now with the additions of Provorov and Severson.
It's just the Metro is a tough division.
The East is a dogfight.
Second to the Atlantic, the Metro is a tough.
You know what's sad, Al? is we talk about how hard the East is to make the playoffs, and the West just won the last 2 Stanley Cups. You
Yeah,
know,
but I mean, yeah,
like
it
that
is
is
true.
so weird, isn't it? That
But it
like,
just goes to show, like, anything happens, right? Anything can happen in
well,
hockey, and like
exactly.
at the end of the day, the better team will win. But it's just throughout the regular season,
The
the
East is
Atlantic,
tough.
the East is just an absolute juggernaut.
Dogfight the whole way
Like
up.
all the Atlantic teams are pretty. I don't know if they're all going to compete for a playoff spot
The
this year.
Canadians are probably the only team that everyone will think they won't have a chance.
I think Montreal is the team you can
But
cross
they're
out,
gonna be,
and I
but
think
they're gonna be
Boston's
better
also
than
another one. And
both.
I'm not saying that to throw sticks and stones at you here. Like, I actually genuinely think that Boston is, they're not going to be
I think they'll
gone
be in the
for
hunt.
long.
Yeah,
Really?
I think they'll be in the hunt.
Okay.
I think they'll make it. Like I think they'll be in the hunt. 'Cause I think they're good enough to be in the
Okay.
hunt. I just think they're gonna make it. Like
Okay.
I
That's
think
good.
Montreal. I think Montreal's be better than people think. I don't think they'll be in the
Nope.
hunt, but I think they'll be better than last year. And
Mm-mm.
they're gonna have flashes of moments. They're gonna have weeks where people are like, are they gonna put it together?
You know what? If they stay healthy, sure.
Like I have that odd feeling of like what
They don't have a goalie.
happened in New Jersey. Like same thing with that could happen in Detroit. Is they have enough young guys where you're like, if they click for like a long enough
But New
period,
Jersey's
they can
been
make it work.
clicking. Like, this isn't new. New Jersey's been there. They've just
Well,
been
no,
drafting. They've just been
before
adding like
last
that
year.
one guy.
But before last year, they were not a playoff team.
But they were clicking. The
Well,
signs were there. Whereas Montreal, it's like, okay.
you see the young guys, and you're like,
Yes,
if
but
they
then they get
healthy.
injured.
Well, yeah,
That's the
but
thing, right?
injuries
Like,
happen.
I know, but you got to stay healthy. I don't think. I think Ottawa. I really
Well,
think
you gotta
Ottawa.
hope that Ottawa
Their
puts it
time is
together.
now. Like, this is
It's
it.
getting close, eh?
It's getting. Oh, you could feel even Buffalo, man. Devin Levi looks freaking good. Devin Levi looks really good.
And then obviously whatever's happening in Detroit
And
with the Yzer plan.
And I've been saying, if Buffalo can get a goalie, oh, watch out. And guess what? I think they have him. I think, you know what? I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, and he played only a few games. I think Devin Levi is the next Ryan Miller.
I think he has a higher upside than Ryan Miller. Upside.
Yeah,
because obviously Ryan Miller was a great servant for the team, and
yeah, but
I'm not sure
just
Buffalo
saying,
fans would.
I mean, I think,
but I know
he's got it. He's got it. I think he's got it, man. The signs are there. I really like what I'm seeing.
And before we divulge into more hockey talk, I will get the season's coming up. Rookie camps are going on right now. 7 attackers at rookie camp. Make sure I mentioned that. Owen Sound got 7 kids at the rookie camps.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Once real training camp starts, and all the we hear about all the injuries and the preseason starts, you and I will make sure we divulge all of the hockey talk as we get inched just a little bit closer.
I can feel it, man. I love it. I love it.
Well, I know you're going to Scotiabank tonight.
Yeah. It's just sort of like a.
I'll throw that out. I'll throw that cat out of the bag. You are going to Scotiabank tonight. You are, as you mentioned, a part of the Toronto Maple Leafs. What was it?
It's their
TV timeout.
Their skate team. Their skate team. Yeah, the ice crew. Yeah. So
you couldn't make the palm team, so you made the skate team. We're happy.
Yeah, which is fine because I mean, at the end of the day, my feet, even when I was a player though, my feet were always better than my hands. So.
Well, yeah, we all know that you definitely couldn't catch nobody if you threw them up in the air. We don't know if anyone could catch you if you threw you up in the air.
That is a valid point. But yeah, so anyway, I got a little introductory meeting tonight. There, 3-hour meeting-ish or whatever. Really excited, looking forward to it. This is gonna be an experience of a lifetime. I don't know. I've been pretty busy, and it's been hard to like fit in my scheduling in terms of like reffing hockey and fitting stuff in and whatnot. But I do think this will, I'm going to do this season, and then we'll see how it goes in terms of how big the workload is. But I mean, this could be just a 1-year thing, and then that's it. But yeah, really excited. Really
long-term thing.
Yeah, really excited. Really looking forward to getting started with them, and it's cool to be able to say that I work for the Toronto Maple Leafs, which is
you work for
the
LLSE.
Team, the team
You're on this is Austin Matthews.
Yeah, the team I grew up cheering for, so it's pretty sweet. Okay, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, let's end her off with the NFL. Obviously, week 1 all the way done. I think Cajun and I mentioned it on Polar Opposites last week. I will mention it tomorrow in front of Cajun's face, but I did beat Cajun in the fantasy football league we're in together.
Of course you did.
So, big dub.
Doesn't surprise me. Spencer's a big football guy.
Second right now in the football league, Al. second.
Actually,
Big dub.
saying Spencer is a big football guy is kind of an understatement. This dude here, like,
Obviously, very
I
good
like to
football.
think that the knowledge I have for hockey is like, if you were to compare it, that's like Spencer's knowledge of football. Like this guy is X's and O's. Spencer could drop a playbook, and it honestly might actually work.
It might. We have to test it out though, of course. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Did you do you have Netflix, Spencer?
of course I have no. Of
Did you watch the series Quarterback?
course not. Why the hell would I waste my time watching that garbage?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
want
I
to see
thought
I don't want to see contrived things about teams giving me exactly what they want to tell me. I want to see it raw. I want to see it on the
okay, fair
field in
enough.
the moment.
I don't know. I
I
thought
don't
it
like
was cool.
contrived things like that. Like I've seen the untold stories. I think they're kind of interesting.
Yeah, Untold was really good. Did you
Like
watch the Johnny Manziel one?
I haven't seen it yet, but I saw the Swamp Kings one about Florida.
I watched Jake Paul and Johnny Manziel.
I watched. You gotta watch Crimes and Penalties then. The first one they made
Ooh, I
about
think I've heard that
Dansbury
one.
Trashers. It's so good.
Oh, that one I've seen it.
Yeah, it was the first one they made.
I've
I
actually
didn't
seen
watch
the
it until a
entire
couple weeks
thing.
ago. I've
It's
seen
crazy.
it twice. It's
It's
amazing.
crazy.
It's so good. I also saw Flagrant Foul, which is about the Tim Donaghy and fixing
Yes,
basketball games and
that's
betting
so
on
that
basketball
one.
games.
Yeah, that one's
I
on my
watched that one.
list. That
Yeah,
one's on
I
my
watched that
list.
one. It's really good too. It's a really big eye opener. But I do have to
Yeah,
get to the Manziel one as well. But before we can continue to
Aaron
get off
Rodgers.
topic, Aaron Rodgers,
What a guy.
starting quarterback for the New York Jets, played all of 3 snaps.
4.
New York Jets. No, 4 if you include the Achilles.
Yeah.
But Aaron Rodgers, New York Jets, spends all summer as a Green Bay Packer just about.
Oh man.
Is he gonna stay? Is he gonna go? It's undecided. Goes on his little darkness retreat. Comes back, still undecided. Then finally announces on the Pat McAfee podcast, "I'm gonna be a New York Jet." He waits a month and a half, gets traded to the New York Jets for an okay trade package. Does all these things off camera, does all these things on camera, does all these things in the off season, hanging out with the rookies, hanging out with the young guys, and he plays 3 snaps, throws 1 pass, no incompletions, has 1 attempt, no completions, and tears his Achilles and is done for the season.
So
And people
can
keep
I
talking he's gonna stay for his career out before you go. They say he's gonna come back. He is 39. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to come back from this.
This is funny. Well, it's not funny. I feel for him, but at the same time, like, so I remember when I looked up Aaron Rodgers, because like I was reffing hockey the night this happened, and I saw him trending. I was like, what the heck is going on? And I was like, no freaking way. This guy is being ruled out of the game for an injury. I was like, that's not good. But then as soon as I searched up Aaron Rodgers to see like trending tweets, there is this guy, I don't know what I was looking for it, I couldn't find it, who literally tweeted out 4 hours before the game saying, watch, Aaron Rodgers is going to go out there and tear his Achilles on that rainy field. Sure enough, it happened. That blew my mind when I read that tweet. Another tweet I have here. Aaron Rodgers saw a total of 4 snaps. His 2023 season lasted 75 seconds, which ironically is also the number he's guaranteed to make in the 2-year contract he has, which is $75 million.
Yeah, but if he retires, then he'll forfeit that money.
Yes.
Which is another point to think about.
And I'm also scrolling through Twitter and the trending tweets that are coming out of this. Sorry, X, my bad. And there's one, this is messed up, but like it's a meme, a picture of, I forget the actor's name, but this is from the movie Identity Thief. And it says, Aaron Rodgers, I might play until I'm 40. No, yeah, I might play until I'm 45 like Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers' Achilles. The f you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I just laughed. So I was trying. Oh man, it was so funny. But yeah, no, it's unfortunate. I mean, hey, if you look at it now, this is an opportunity for Zach Wilson to put his money where his mouth is. Because Zach Wilson, it came out that when Rodgers signed, he was like, there was this quote that came out saying, like, I'm going to make this old dude, like, I'm going to take this spot from this old guy or whatever. And sure enough, now he has the opportunity to do that. And he did just that. He came into the game and he won. The Jets beat the Bills.
Yeah, but let's not act like that was Zach Wilson. He didn't play bad.
No, no,
Or
no, no, no.
he didn't play
No,
bad, but
but I'm just saying you're
you
off to a
know,
good start, kid.
when Josh Allen throws 3 picks to the same guy and the Bills score what 16 points of offense and then in 4 quarters plus overtime, like come on,
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was.
And
Yeah, even too like. I mean, for the Aaron Rodgers thing, I knew this guy here. He's not Tom Brady. He isn't. Like there is no. You're not. No one's ever like this. I don't know if we'll ever see a player like Tom Brady again. We
won't
probably
play that
will.
long.
We
Probably
probably
not.
will.
I don't think
I,
so.
I think we will because I mean, if hockey's taught anybody anything, look, there was Gretzky, then there was Crosby, then there's McDavid, then
Oh no, I
now
mean
there's
like
Bedard.
longevity wise. Obviously,
Oh,
there's gonna
okay,
be the
okay, okay.
next. Like Mahomes is already that. Mahomes is already
Well,
technically,
I
I'd say,
mean,
more
and Joe
talented.
Burrow is the highest paid quarterback or highest football player in history now with
Yeah,
his new
and he
deal.
played like garbage in week 1. And Justin
But here's
Herbert is fantastic. And Tua Tagovailoa had one of the best week 1s of any quarterback.
Tua
Tua's
was
on my
very
minutes
good.
team, by the way.
He
But
was very good.
like there's a lot of really good young quarterbacks that are taking those spots of Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, of Tom Brady. Peyton Manning's retired, been retired, but still, of that era of quarterback, Big Ben Roethlisberger, even Eli Manning, who I don't think too much of as a player. You know, that whole generation is taking over. But for Aaron, you know, people thought last chance to get her second ring, last chance, last real kick at the can is this year and probably next year, and then you'd think that the arm strength's probably going to go and certain things are going to go for him. Again, being 39 turns 40 in December.
Yeah.
So just in a few months' time, he'll be 40 with a torn Achilles.
Well,
Which is
there's a reason why the Jets were the only one. I think the Jets were really the only ones really in on him in terms of money. I think teams were like, okay, we want him, but like we don't want him that badly. And I think this is because of the age. And do I think
situation?
I
Like
think he can. I think he can bounce back. It's just, yeah.
like
Like
how many teams without a quarterback could win?
well, it's also
That's the thing. Is there's not a whole lot of
yeah,
teams right now who are in a place to win who don't have a quarterback they trust. Like even in
yeah,
San Francisco, who also is in that market, they have Brock Purdy. They
yep,
had Trey
and
Lance, who they now just traded away, which did upset me, but I want to get into that right now. You know, they have Sam Darnold, who's now their fixed project, former top 3 pick, right? Like
yeah,
that's the thing. Is there's not a whole lot of teams that fit what Rodgers was trying to do, which is a team that needs a quarterback that's ready to win. The Jets were the perfect team. They
yep,
needed a quarterback, and their roster is good enough to win. So
yeah, and then
they were
now,
the number 1 option, and now they're back where they were last year. They have a young guy they drafted second overall who wasn't ready, probably isn't ready, and they have a great roster that is ready to win, but they don't have the guy. They don't have the ship is ready to take out the fleet, but they don't got the captain to do it.
yep, and now, well, just you won't have him.
You know, the captain the captain you brought in to win the battle's now sick and gone back to shore. So now you're stuck with the guy you didn't want in the first place.
Yeah, but I mean, and the thing is, you really touched on there. That was the best point I think I heard. Well, a really good point was, 40. You're closing in on 40, and you got an Achilles injury. Like your body does not heal as fast or the same way it did 20 years ago, there, Mr. Rogers.
Well,
So
that's why I can't believe all these people talking about how he's going to come back and he's going to do this. Like,
I mean, he
yeah,
can. I think he's got
I
that.
bet you he wants to.
I think he's got that dog in him. I
No,
honestly
but
think
I don't.
you know
I
what, they
don't
ruled
think
him
it's
out for
him.
this. They ruled him out for the season, but
He does not play this year. I can tell you that he does not play this year.
we'll see.
He won't even be 70% if he plays again this year.
We'll see. I don't think he does either, but I mean, I'm not. I will say this: there's 90% of me says he's done for the year, no matter what. 10% of me is still going. That guy might somehow find a way back onto the field.
Okay, Al, I'm telling you this right
I
now.
know, I know,
If
I know, Spencer. No, I know. I'm just saying.
no, I'm gonna qualify this. If Aaron Rodgers plays again this year, he'll never play football after that year. After this year, if he steps on the field
okay.
again this year,
That's
because he
valid.
will ruin his leg.
That's
I'm telling you
valid.
that. He's 40 years old with a bad Achilles. Like, yes, players play through injuries, and yes, they sign the release form saying, I don't care what it does to my body. But I'm telling you, if Aaron Rodgers goes out there with a torn Achilles, partially torn Achilles, and knows what he's getting himself into, and takes one hit to that leg, which players, I can tell you, it's football, they're going to target that leg because they know what's wrong with it. He'll never play football again. He'll ruin that leg. Or he'll ruin his good leg trying to overcompensate, which happens a lot too.
Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah, no,
I
I
hope
think
he
you're
takes
right.
the 12 months off and comes back next September and plays one more year to go out on his own terms type of thing.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. The dog and like willing himself back on the field. I'm not saying he doesn't feel that way. I'm not saying he'll be able to get himself to shape. My thing is his age. He is physically not going to be able to do it because we've seen what Achilles injuries does to young athletes, not Kobe Bryant at 35, who was a shell of the player he was prior to the Achilles.
Yeah.
Like
No,
Achilles injuries zap you of all your athleticism.
I just
They're
couldn't
worse than
believe
ACL
too.
tears that way.
I just couldn't believe too. Like the crazy part for me was like, and people jumped on the guns on the meme ship so quickly. Like they're like, Aaron Rodgers 2023 highlight reel, and it was him running out onto the field with the American flag. Yeah, I was like, wow, guys.
Yeah, that's
really?
the entire highlight. That's the entire highlight film too. Al is
like,
literally
come on, guys.
Flag.
I was like, what are we doing here? I do have to wrap this up though, Spence.
Yeah, I knew we were getting to that point, but I will finish with this. Without Aaron Rodgers, without Aaron Rodgers now, the AFC East is the Bills to lose, but this almost guarantees the Miami Dolphins a free playoff spot. Because you knew that division was going to be an absolute bloodbath with the Jets having Aaron Rodgers, the Dolphins, Miami, and Buffalo Bills. But now without the Jets, Miami and Buffalo are almost locks now to make the playoffs in my mind. So,
but I mean, also like for me too, like I know football's different in terms of every week pretty much matters. But I'm also like, it's week one. Like even Kansas City, they lost to Detroit, but I'm like, man, Kansas City was.
But
like,
they were without two of their best players, their best defender.
Defensive
player who bounced back, and
I know and that's what I'm saying. Like it's only week one, and like there's a few teams out there that lost in week one where I'm like, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. Like it's 1 week where you can say that about Kansas City and Buffalo, and the Cincinnati Bengals, but even then, the Kansas City Chiefs could lose like their first 4 weeks, and they'll still find a way.
But they're getting back their best defensive player who just signed his new 1-year deal to get back on the field, and they're going to get back Kelsey, you'd think, either this week or next week.
Yeah, they're fine.
Will fix all their problems. Like they'll fix all their problems with those two guys back on the field. They'll generally go from a team who loses by 1 point to they're blowing teams out again because they're a football team with a great coaching staff. So they will turn around now. Like I mark my words. Those teams will. I'm not sure the Jets can with Zach Wilson. I don't trust them. I don't think they'll be able to do it. I think they'll be a decent team because again,
it'd be a good story.
Great, but
be a good story if he does.
Well, if he proves everybody wrong and shows what he was at BYU, hey, all power to him. But
you
gotta see it to believe it. You gotta show it.
Yeah, big hill. But yeah, that is it. I actually have to. Yeah, it's about that time. I gotta run there. I got that schedule starting to get a little too tight. Time of the day. It's that time of day. But anyways, this was. Oh yeah, I know my role. This was episode. This was. You're good. Thanks for keeping me on my toes. This was episode 18 of The Outrage. Technically, the 1-year anniversary celebration. I guess you could say we didn't make that big of a deal about it, but just a little over a year ago today, Spencer approached me with this phenomenal idea to launch this, and I think it's been not exactly what we wanted it to be or what he wanted it to be, but it's definitely getting there bit by bit. And hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. You got to learn to crawl before you walk, right? So this was episode 18 of The Outrage from Spencer Byers, myself, Alain, Kevin, Big Al, whatever the hell you want. This was The Outrage.